There are days when your mind feels like a browser with 20 tabs open and none of them are responding. You sit in silence, but inside there's noise, conflicting thoughts, endless what-ifs, background anxiety you can't trace but can't escape either. And the worst part? You can't think. Not clearly, not cleanly. Every thought feels tangled, every decision feels heavy, and the more you try to fix it, the more you try to force clarity, the messier it gets. Because clarity doesn't come from thinking harder, it comes from thinking slower, gentler, more spaciously. But we're not taught that. We're taught to push through, figure it out, get it together. So we try. We grab a journal, open a productivity app, make a new plan, but none of it sticks. Because clarity isn't a strategy problem, it's a state problem. You can't access clear thinking when your nervous system is overwhelmed. When your body is in survival mode, your brain narrows its focus. It scans for danger. It catastrophizes. It loops. That's not you being weak. That's your system trying to protect you. But if you want clarity, you don't start with your thoughts. You start with your state. Because the mind doesn't settle until the body feels safe. Your messy mind isn't the root of the problem, it's the symptom. When your thoughts feel jumbled, it usually means your system is overstimulated. Too much input, too little rest, too many open loops running in the background of your brain. So what do? We try to solve the chaos by thinking more. We analyze, list, replay conversations, predict outcomes, scroll for answers, research for hours, as if one more thought will be the key to unlock peace. But clarity doesn't come from more noise. It comes from space. And space isn't just a time thing, it's a nervous system thing. Before you can think clearly, you have to feel regulated. And regulation starts in the body, which means the fastest path to mental clarity isn't a new plan, it's pausing long enough to come back to your senses. What do you hear right now? What does your breath feel like? Where is your body holding tension? When was the last time you moved, stretched, drank water? It sounds simple, maybe too simple. But clarity lives in simplicity, because when you feel safe, your mind stops racing. It stops catastrophizing. It stops jumping 5 steps ahead, trying to prepare for everything. Instead, it begins to focus, to notice what actually matters, to let go of what doesn't. That's the beginning of clear thinking, not controlling your mind, but grounding it. Once your body starts to settle, you'll notice something shift in your thoughts. They slow down. They separate. They become easier to track. What once felt like a blur of panic and pressure begins to take form, not because you forced it, but because you stopped fighting it. This is where clarity begins. Not in a breakthrough, but in a return. You return to yourself, to the moment, to what's actually happening, not what you're projecting, fearing, or assuming. Here's something no one teaches us. Clarity often hides beneath chaos. It's there. It's just buried under layers of urgency, overstimulation, and old programming. Programming that says, if you're not productive, you're failing. If you don't have the answer now, you're behind. If you pause, everything will fall apart. But clarity doesn't respond to panic. It responds to presence. So the next time your mind feels messy, don't go looking for the perfect system. Don't assume something's wrong with you. Instead, zoom out. Ask yourself, what's actually overwhelming me right now? What can I name, write down, or set aside? What can I release that isn't mine to carry? Because often, it's not that you can't think clearly, it's that you've been trying to think while your brain is drowning in noise and your body is holding the weight of 10 unresolved stories. And you don't need a better mind to fix that. You need a better relationship with your mind. One that starts with, I'm not here to force answers. I'm here to make space for them to arrive. Clarity doesn't yell, it whispers. But if your internal world is too loud, you won't hear it. The mistake most people make is chasing mental control instead of building mental capacity. Trying to get every thought in line, solve every problem immediately, and organize chaos into neat little boxes. But the brain doesn't work like that under pressure, especially when it's emotionally charged. When your system is dysregulated, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for rational thinking, goes offline. That's why you can't plan. That's why you spiral. That's why even small decisions feel paralyzing. And no, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do when it thinks you're unsafe. Survive first, think later. So if you want to think clearly, you don't start by fixing your thoughts, you start by regulating your state. Sometimes that means movement. Sometimes it means stillness. Sometimes it means a walk, a nap, a cry, a boundary. Whatever helps your body feel more here, that's what helps your mind find clarity again. Because clear thinking isn't a mindset, it's a physiological state. And when you stop fighting your brain and start supporting your body, clarity begins to surface, not with force, but with flow. It's not that the answers weren't there, it's that they couldn't reach you until your system was calm enough to receive them. You've probably been told to get out of your head, but no one ever explains how to do that. Because when your mind is messy, you can't just flip a switch and find peace. But you can create conditions for clarity to return. And one of the most powerful ways to do that is through externalizing your thoughts. Because here's the truth. Your brain is not a storage unit, it's a processor. When you try to hold everything in your head, every task, every worry, every half-finished conversation, your mind gets overwhelmed. It's like trying to organize 100 browser tabs while juggling 5 conversations and checking notifications. That's not clarity, that's cognitive overload. So instead of managing it all internally, start moving it outward. Write it down, say it out loud, draw it, voice note it, brain dump it. Don't worry about making sense, just let the thoughts exit your body, because once they're out, you can see them, sort them, slow them down. What felt like a hurricane in your head often looks like 5 simple bullet points on paper. And from that space, real clarity begins. Not just about what to do, but about what actually matters. What can wait? What isn't yours? What was just noise dressed up as urgency? That's how you reclaim your mind. Not through control, but through release. You don't need to be less messy. You just need a safe space to let the mess breathe. Clear thinking isn't about removing every emotion from the equation. It's about learning to think with your emotions without letting them run the show. When your mind feels messy, it's often because emotion and thought are tangled together. You're not just thinking, you're feeling the thoughts. And those feelings, anxiety, fear, urgency, guilt, can distort what's actually true. So now, every thought feels heavy, every decision feels personal, and clarity slips further away. But here's what helps: separating the thought from the feeling. Try this. Instead of asking, "What should I do?" ask, "What am I feeling right now?" Name it. Don't justify it. Don't explain it away. Just name it. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling afraid I'll mess this up. I'm feeling like I don't have enough time. When you name the emotion, you create space between you and the storm. You stop being inside it and start witnessing it. And from that place, your mind can start to clarify again. Because here's the truth most people miss. You can't think clearly until you've felt safely. That means clarity doesn't always look like a perfect plan. Sometimes it looks like crying for 5 minutes. Sometimes it looks like walking away from the desk. Sometimes it looks like saying, "I don't know yet." And that's okay. You're not failing when your mind feels messy. You're just being invited to slow down and listen more deeply to what's actually going on inside you. And once you do that, clarity isn't something you chase. It's something that finds you. One of the biggest myths about clarity is that it comes in a sudden aha moment, a light bulb that flicks on and makes everything obvious. But real clarity? It usually arrives in layers. First, the chaos softens. Then the noise begins to separate. Then one small insight rises to the surface. Not everything, just one thing, one clear next step, one truth you'd been avoiding, one gentle shift in perspective, and that's enough. Clarity rarely shows up as a fully formed roadmap. It shows up as a whisper. Start here. The problem is, we often ignore those whispers because they don't feel big enough. We wait for a sign. We wait to be sure. We wait until we feel 100% ready, and in the waiting, the mental clutter grows. But clarity favors movement. Not frantic motion, not perfection, just honest, grounded action from the place you are now. Write the message, ask the question, go for the walk, take the break, say the number. Whatever the smallest true next step is, that's where clarity lives. And the more you act from that place, the more your mind begins to trust itself again. Because it sees that you're no longer trapped in indecision. You're responding, you're moving, you're building momentum. Clarity doesn't always feel certain. Sometimes it feels like relief. Sometimes it feels like permission. Sometimes it feels like peace, even in the absence of a plan. And that's how you know you're not forcing it anymore. You're finding it. The goal isn't to have a perfectly organized mind. It's to have a relationship with your mind that feels safe, steady, and kind. Because the truth is, there will always be messy days. Days when thoughts loop, when clarity hides, when your brain feels like it's running in 10 directions at once. But the difference now, you know what to do. You don't panic. You don't assume something's wrong with you. You recognize it as a signal, a moment to pause, breathe, return. You remember that your mind isn't a machine to control. It's a space to care for. And when you give it that care with stillness, with curiosity, with compassion, you stop fighting the mess. You work with it. You let it unfold. You follow the thread. You create space, not pressure. And from that space, your next clear thought always comes. Maybe not the full answer, but the next right word, the next brave move, the next step that brings you back to yourself. Because clarity isn't about control, it's about connection. And when you're connected body, mind, breath, you don't need to figure everything out at once. You just need to be present enough to hear what's true right now. So the next time your thoughts start to spiral, don't push harder. Slow down. Make space. Let the fog settle. Let clarity rise. When your mind feels messy, what's one thing that helps you feel more grounded instantly? Drop it in the comments. Someone else might need your tool today.